Brother, I'm going, wanna wow Hulk Hogan. If all I get's a moment, I'll make sure it's an explosion. Cause lately I've been seeing stars, trying to kick out of this chokehold. But it's no holds barred, middle fingers like I'm Stone Cold.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? This is another episode of the Slapping Me Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, WeTooDeep. All right, let's get into it. We got a good episode for you. We talking AEW. You know, we addressed the whole last episode on Mercedes for the most part. We're going to address some more AEW on this episode. Don't get used to it. We're not going to talk about this company a lot. But we need to have a talk. More so to Tony Khan and some of the other things that I have I've seen this week come out of some different news, some different dirt sheets. Now, I will say don't trust the dirt sheets. They're not always accurate, but just some things that I've seen that I want to talk about. But before we jump into that, QR code is on the bottom of the screen right there. If you're watching, pointing to it. If not, the link is in the description of the audio format as well. Go get your WWE merch, whether it's new title belts, new t-shirts, signed autographs, whatever it is. Use that link, support the podcast. And then go to junkyardmediagroup.com. You can get this show. You can go see the blogs. You can go and go watch the Beyond the Junkyard podcast that airs live on Thursday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern time. I think that's all the housekeeping we're gonna do. We got to talk about that episode yesterday, though. There, Beyond the Junkyard Gang, with the talking about your Mount Rushmores, and look, that's a listen. Go check it out. It's on YouTube. It's in the Discord as well. Go check out the Discord. You'll get all the updates there. You could submit questions to both shows and all of that, and so all that housekeeping, jazz. Take all those links in the description. I've been meaning to address this for a few episodes now, but there was a question in the Discord that sort of asked about the intro music and where did I get the song from. It's a song called Hulk Hogan by my favorite rapper, Tom McDonald. I'm not licensed to use it. I get copyright claims on every one of these episodes because of that song, because of the way that Tom McDonald drops his music. You cannot find that song on Spotify or iTunes. You can only get that song, Hulk Hogan, by purchasing the physical CD from his website, hangovergang.com. I don't even remember what CD it's on, to be honest. Just buy all 10 of them that he's released over the last 4 years. You'll enjoy his music. At least I do. So there you go. You guys now know where that song comes from and where you can get it. I'm pretty sure that's been in the description, but I don't really ever point it out. But let's jump into wrestling. So this first topic, before we talk AEW, right? And again, we're going to have the question of the week and my top 10 this week being in tag teams. But before we jump into all that, let's talk about this first topic before we talk about what I need to talk about with AEW. There was a conversation that I was a part of in one of the Discords that I'm in, where the question was sort of asked, like, do we have to pick sides in this Roman Reigns Cody Rhodes feud? Like, if Cody Rhodes wins, can I be happy? Like, can I cheer for both sides? Or do we have to sort of make this sort of like a sporting event where you're a fan of one team and you cheer for that team, and no matter what, right? And I think you can cheer for both. Just personally, wrestling is not one of those things where you have to draw a solid line, like because I actually find it quite cringy when people watch wrestling and it's like, so let's say for me, like, because Roman Reigns is my favorite character on the show, right? And so I'm going to cheer for Roman Reigns, right? But if Roman Reigns loses, right? And I sit out here and just like, if I come out here and just start crying because he loses the match, right? Then look, now what I'm going to complain about is, hey, is this the right way to end the story, right? Because I care about the story more than the individual character, right? So, like, for example, there's a girl on TikTok that I haven't seen her TikToks in about a year at this point, but I remember the last time I really followed her. She um was a big fan of, Matt Riddle at the time, and he was in the match against Roman Reigns on that SmackDown for the title, right? Y'all remember this? And Matt Riddle lost, and she just completely had a conniption, lost her shit over the fact that Matt Riddle lost this match and how, oh, Matt Riddle's better than that. She took it as if it was a real sporting event, right? And I just find that cringy as shit, right? Like, Roman Reigns is my favorite wrestler, but I know the way this story ends is he loses the belt. I just want to see a good ending of the story, right? You've made me invest 3-4 years into the story. I want to see it end well. I don't want to see it end like Game of Thrones ended, where everyone bitched about the ending of the series, right? Like this is going to go down as one of the greatest stories of all time. You have to end it correctly. That's what my complaint's going to be about. That's what my critique's going to be about, right? Um, because that's what my main concern is, right? So, like the idea of like, because I like Roman Reigns, I can't sing along to Cody Rhodes a song. I don't agree with that, because Cody Rhodes is just another character in the story, right? So I mean, I made a little sarcastic comment saying, "No, man, I'm doing the whoa in a Roman Reigns shirt." Right, because I'm going to sing along to Cody Rhodes a song because it's catchy, and I like Cody. I don't dislike Cody at all, like in a personal way. Right? I know I come off at it sometimes. I got to understand though. I'm a little bit playing a gimmick when I'm on the mic here, right? That's what makes this fun for me, right? And so, yeah, I think Roman Reigns is going to win the match. I'm going to cheer for Roman Reigns during the match. I'm picking Roman Reigns, but you know what? If Cody Rhodes ends up winning the match, hey, as long as it makes sense and what follows behind Cody Rhodes winning the match makes sense in a storyline perspective, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh man, I can't believe Roman Reigns lost. That was a bad decision. No. Now, if they come out and do like some shitty storyline with it and Cody, gets cashed in on or whatever, then yeah, I'm going to complain. But I don't know. I don't think we have to choose sides in wrestling. I don't. Right? Like I think it makes it fun because that's sort of the nature we have, is we always want to have sides. Like, we want to, we have to be WWE or we have to be AEW, right? And or you have to like Cody, or if you like Cody, you can't like Roman, or if you like Jey Uso, you can't cheer for Jimmy Uso, right? Because people are going to start making posts like, you want Team Yeet or Team No Yeet, right? Now, for me, it's Team No Yeet. We're supporting the bloodline all day, all the way through. Team Yeet over here sides with the enemy and Cody Rhodes. You see, like that's what the part that makes it fun. But we don't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be. It makes it more fun to choose a side. As long as the story is good, cheer for whoever you want, right? I don't think we have like I go to these wrestling shows and understanding that I'm watching a show, and I may have my favorite characters, but the result and what happens in the show doesn't necessarily affect my daily life. I think it starts to become cringy when it does, right? If my favorite, right, let me talk about someone, Roman's never going to lose, so I can't really use him. Um, okay, Fallon Henley. I'll go to NXT. Fallon Henley is one of my favorite female wrestlers on the NXT roster. She takes some L's every now and then. She hasn't really gotten title opportunities when I feel like she should get title opportunities. Do I sit here and bitch about it? No. I understand that they're trying to tell a story in that division, and what she's doing right now, I think is solid work on the screen, and so I'm gonna let them do what they do, right? You know, Joe Gacy. I love Joe Gacy. Dude is literally the next Bray Wyatt. Cannot get a PLE win to save his life. And should he be in the title hunt, then the sort of North American title hunt? Sure, I think he should be. But they're telling good stories. What they did with the schism was really, really good until that ended. And what he's doing now is pretty interesting and entertaining. I think they're doing Joe Gacy the way they should have done Bray Wyatt and just kept him out of the title picture and just let him be the sort of weird supernatural kind of gimmick. I'd wish he gets some wins though, to be honest, but I like what they're doing with Joe Gacy. I'm not going to sit here and bitch about it, right? And so, do we have to pick sides? No. I think to me personally, I have my favorites. When Joe Gacy's music comes on, when Fallon Henley's music comes on, when Roman's music comes on, yeah, I'm going to cheer for him. When Cody's music comes on, I'm going to sing along to the song, right? Now Cody's entering a feud with Roman, and Roman always takes superiority in terms of like there's a hierarchy in my favorites, right? So like if to be honest with you, I don't hate Cody Rhodes. I like him. I like what he's been doing. Like I cheered for him against Seth, right? But when I cheered for Cody against Brock. I cheered for Cody, understanding that the story was he was going to be rebuilt, right? I understood that story and I was all for it, right? But then you step to Roman, right? Now, Roman's at the top of the hierarchy. He's the tribal chief. We acknowledge him on this show, right? And so once you step to, like for me, I put it this way, like different sport, NASCAR, right? Auto racing. I live in the South. We love NASCAR down here, right? My favorite driver my favorite driver for the longest time in the like what they call the Cup Series was Chase Elliott, right? He replaced my ultimate favorite driver, which was Jeff Gordon. Elliott sort of took his spot, but then they have multiple different series there. I had another favorite driver in the lower series below the Cup Series. His name was Noah Gragson. Noah Gragson gets moved up to the Cup Series. Now I have a conundrum: Chase Elliott or Noah Gragson. Who do I cheer for? Well, I cheer for both. If Chase Elliott wins a race, I'm happy, right? But when it comes down to it, like let's say it was the last lap and Noah Gragson and Chase Elliott were battling for the win, I'm cheering for Noah all day long because he's my favorite of the two drivers, right? So you can have multiple favorites, but we all have a hierarchy of favorites, right? So do we have to choose a side? No. Go in there. This is how I sort of how I view wrestling. Go in and be entertained, right? That the Uso versus Uso match is going to be a banger. It's going to be a super kick fest. I'm going to go ahead and call that out. It's going to be a super kick fest, and I'm not going to enjoy that aspect of it. But it's going to be a banger of a match, right? And potentially match of the year. And I'm going to sit there and enjoy every single moment, and whoever wins, it doesn't matter to me because I get to see quality wrestling, right? Same thing with like last year when we had Charlotte versus Rhea. I love both wrestlers, and we got a banger of a match out of it, right? So I don't necessarily. I think if we went into it not looking at this as a sport, but as sort of an entertainment aspect where we just went in and as a fan just sat in and enjoyed the spectacle of what WrestleMania is going to be, I think we'd enjoy the product a lot more. I think the problem a lot of people have is that they sit here and they try to critique everything and they watch it through sort of like a the lens of this is like a legitimate thing, right? Um, and I even think like if you watched like football the way that I watch wrestling, because it's sort of the similar to the way that I watch football. Like I'm here, I go to the game. Yeah, I'm a Patriots fan. Absolutely. Patriots, I want them to win no matter what. But we're not going to win every game. I just want a good game. Right? Now, if the Patriots are on, I'm probably going to cheer for the Patriots. But I'll sit and watch, like, I'm about to turn on March Madness when I'm done recording this, right? There's two teams in March Madness in the men's tournament that I care about. My Clemson Tigers, but we going to be out in about 2 rounds. That's about as far as we going to make it, if we even make it past the first round. And then the second one is I just love the color scheme. To be honest, this is a dumb reason. Like the dark, like royal purple, black, and white. That's those are my 3 favorite like colors. Mix them together, right? It's Grand Canyon University. Go Lobos. The little sign they do here, I like that. Not Lobos, Lopes. Go Lopes. The Antelopes, Grand Canyon University Antelopes. I love the mascot name. There's no other team that I know of named the Antelopes. Unique. They got a little sign that they do. The color scheme, right? It's a no-name university, true Cinderella. So I'm cheering for them if my Clemson Tigers get eliminated, which they will. So, when I sit here and watch, college basketball, let's see, what game was I watching the other day? I forgot what game I was watching the other day, but like I didn't care about either of the two teams. I just wanted to see a good game because I like the sport, right? And the same thing with wrestling. Like half the time, I don't care who wins. I just want to see a good match. I want to see a good show, and that's typically the mindset that I watch all sports, and particularly the entertainment avenue known as professional wrestling through. Now let's talk about AEW. So there was a news report, I guess, if you want to call it that, from the dirt sheets that Tony Khan is essentially, in the quotation here, is really mad at Jungle Boy, Jack Perry, as I like to call it, Jungle Bitch. That he's really mad at Jungle Boy for costing the company CM Punk. And Tony, this is where we really have to have a talk, my guy. You're going to sit here. And so the question that I like to form these topics in the form of a question. Is Jungle Boy being used as the scapegoat? And Tony, I really have a genuine question here. Why are you scapegoating? Like, I'm not at all going to justify any actions at Jungle. I mean, after I talked shit about him all of last year, basically, for like the last half of the year after the All In incident happened, yeah, I'm not going to sit here and defend the Jungle Boy. I don't think what he did was appropriate. But Tony, this all comes down to you, right? Because that event could have been avoided by punishing the Young Bucks and and Hangman and Omega the first time they tried to step to CM Punk, right? Tony, everything that I talked about last year to you, Tony Khan, listen to me right here as I stare right into this camera. Everything that I talked about last year, and I'm sure you didn't hear it, but anyway, the viewers of this show know what I said, right? You got to be big boss, Tony. You gotta grow a set. You got to start punishing these people when they step to your big stars, right? You suspend CM Punk. You don't really do much to the Young Bucks or the Hangman. Right. And so what this sets is this precedent that you could, if you're friends with Tony, if you're friends with the Elite, you could step to whoever you want and nothing's going to get done backstage because we really don't have a boss. We just have a fan with money back here leading the ship. You don't have a leader in the locker room. because the people who were hired to be the locker room leaders, the Chris Jerichos, they're siding with the Young Bucks, and so they're not going to step out and say anything to them. You don't have a leader in the locker room. So when someone like CM Punk comes in to be that locker room leader and he starts to call out things, right? And then people don't like it. They don't want to take that correction, so that they try to get him fired, right? Y'all, come on, Tony, you can't scapegoat Jack. Did Jack Perry do stupid shit? Sure. He's had fault here at some, but you can't sit here and act like you're not at all and at fault, Tony Khan. Don't act like you could not have controlled the situation any better than you did. Right? Did you allow real glass to be used and set up a potential situation where Jack Perry could go rogue? Do you have any policy that, right? You basically give full creative control to every character on the screen. You haven't shown that you're willing to be a boss and to take a stand against people going rogue, because it's happened before. It happened with Jack Perry, right? So yeah, Tony, the only person you have to blame is you, and now you're sort of like sidelining Jack Perry. Hey, look, here's the thing, Tony, put him on your screen, dude. People want to see him. The fans want to see him. He could have been that event happened, right? So this is how I would have done it, right? Jack Perry goes off. He goes off on the little rant. All the shit happens with CM Punk where all the rumors are coming out, right? CM Punk gets fired, right? I would have had Jack Perry come out. What was it? Was it Double or Nothing? In Chicago, or I forgot what actual pay-per-view it was that CM Punk got fired like 2 days before a show that only sold out because CM Punk was on the marquee, right? And so CM Punk gets fired. I would have had Jack Perry be the first one to start the show. I would have played CM Punk's song, had Jack Perry walk out to CM Punk's song, and he would have been the biggest heel. You had the biggest heel in your company at the time, and Jack Perry. I would have just played into it. I'm the one that got CM Punk fired, right? I would have just played into that gimmick as long as you could before CM Punk showed up on WWE. You did nothing to rectify. Instead, you throw it behind the curtain as if it doesn't happen. You don't talk about it. You hide behind the same excuse every single time something like this happens. It's an ongoing situation. We're doing you're not investigating shit, Tony. Make it make it into a story. Like you missed an opportunity when Punk came back to put him against the Elite and had the biggest match in London. You missed that opportunity. And instead, you're not just going to sit here and scapegoat Jack Perry. You're going to sort of cast him aside to the island of misfit toys in New Japan. Like, what are we doing, man? What are we doing? And then, but there's another thing that when it comes to AEW that I want to talk about. And that's Darby Allin. I thought I was over this. This whole thing with him going through glass and all that. I thought I was over it until I saw a TikTok the other day. Darby Allin was being interviewed. Now, this was obviously before the injury in his match against Jay White about a week or so ago. I think it was at Big Business where he broke his foot and he had to cancel his Everest trip because he was talking about, hey, this is why I'm going to Everest or whatever, right? And so he basically stated that, because he was homeless, he's not scared to go back. And that's why he's always going to take all these risks, and he's not going to listen to the haters because that are telling him to slow it down and to stop doing all the crazy spots, because he's not doing it for the fans. He's doing it for himself. And all of that is cool until he said maybe the dumbest words I've ever said come out of I've ever heard come out of a human being's mouth. The dumbest sentence. Life's short, make it shorter. Dude, what the hell are you talking about? Darby, I need you just to think for a minute. Quit trying to chase some adrenaline high you're never going to be satisfied with. And just understand this, Darby. You are a talented wrestler. I don't hate Darby Allin. I hate the shit that he does. I hate his antics. Dude is proven he could sell. Dude is proven he can do a character. Dude is proven that he's pretty decent in the ring. He's pretty good on the mic. What he's not good is decision making. Like, if you just took away all the dumb spots and tried to extend your career just a little bit longer, you could be, a big time player in this business. You don't have to get over with all the crazy spots, though. That's you trying to chase some adrenaline high. And you got to be smart about this, man. Extend your career. Like I wrote this down. Like, Darby Allin truly has no care, no regard for his own life. And Tony, this ultimately comes back to you, my guy. Tony, I need you to understand. I'm talking to Tony Khan, because I am. I'm talking to Tony Khan. Hopefully someone can share this to him. Tony, if Darby Allin does one stupid thing that kills him in the middle of your ring, your company is over. If we witness Darby Allin die on TV because of some stupid ass stunt that you allow him to do, your company is done. There's no recovering from that. There's no recovering from that at all. There's just nothing you can do to recover from it. You just can't. Your company's done in this day and age, right? Like what happened? And here, I already know there was the rebuttal to that from the AEW fans. Oh, well, Vince got over Owen. Yeah, well, they didn't have the internet. They didn't have social media. They didn't have the type of presence online at that time, right? If Owen Hart's situation happened today, WWE is finished. It doesn't get over it. Right? If Darby Allin dies in the ring, AEW's done. They're done. You don't overcome that. You don't overcome that type of situation. You're done. So Darby, you got talent, dude. What you don't have is a brain. I say this because I don't want you in a wheelchair in 5 years. Sure, go do Everest. I don't even care that he's climbing Everest. People climb Mount Everest every single year. Right? That takes a lot of determination and grit, and I applaud him for wanting to do that. What I don't applaud is him jumping off a 15-foot ladder 10 feet outside the ring through a pane of glass. That was pretty dumb. I don't think you need to do that. You got the character work. You got the promo ability. You got the in-ring ability. You could be a big star in this game, dude. You got a future in here, in the business. You don't have to go out week in and week out and kill yourself. For fans who, when you die, they're not going to care. They're just going to move on to the next one. To fill their bloodlust. Use your head a little bit, dude. You got a good career. You're at the top of a company that considers you part of its 4 pillars. And in my belief system, Darby Allin is the best of the 4 pillars. Who are the 4 pillars? Sammy Guevara. Well, we already know that he's just a walking clown show, being mentored by another walking clown show in Chris Jericho. Who's next? MJF. MJF hasn't changed his gimmick in 8 years. Dude's literally the same old. Can he talk on the mic? Sure. MJF is decent in the ring. Sure. But he's mid-card at best in WWE. And outside of the current gimmick he currently has, he's proven a little bit in the last year or so that maybe he could go face. Maybe there's a little bit more that he could do there. But the overall appeal of MJF is that he's a shit talker, right? Who's next? Jungle Boy? Well, he's not even in the company no more, dude. We just talked about it. Jungle Boy's been banished to the island of misfit toys. Darby's the only one of what they consider their 4 pillars that could actually do something. Who has good character work, who has good promo ability, who can get over in the ring, who knows how to sell. But he wants to do mark shit for marks who don't care about him. Darby, dude. Calm it down, dude. Like honestly, I want to see you succeed. I don't want you in a wheelchair in your 40s. I want you to enjoy your life after the business. And I'm not even saying come to WWE because I don't think you'll fit in there. But I think you could fit in AEW. If again this comes down to Tony, book him in a situation where he doesn't have to do this stupid shit to get over. And this is more of a conversation for the fans. Stop applauding it. He's going to kill himself. Y'all are going to witness a murder one of these days. Y'all are going to witness him injure himself to the point to where he either dies in the ring or dies as a result of the injury. Y'all okay with that? Because I'm not. I don't want to have to be on here and be like, I told you so. I don't want to have to be on here discussing, oh, what a sad day in wrestling. Darby Allin dies. I told you this would happen. I don't want to have to make that show. But I will if it happens. Right? There's a bright future ahead of Darby. Fans of AEW, stop applauding stupid shit when it happens. Tell Darby Allin you don't want to see it no more. You want to see him live into his 40s and his 50s and his 60s. I'm not saying Darby stop doing your style of telling a story. I think you got a damn ass good character. You got a damn ass good story you could tell. Stop going through panes of glass. Stop going spine first into the stairs. I don't even necessarily care. I mean, the coffin drop is a good finisher if it wasn't done in stupid ways, where you're coffin dropping on the edge of the ring or onto stairs. Excuse me, or onto to different, like the coffin drop works if you use it as a finisher, not doing it stupidly. Sure, I don't necessarily care about you using that moveset. I don't care about you necessarily being in ladder matches. Like if that, right, that's fine. But it's the glass and the being dropped on your spine onto like edges of stairs, like stupid shit like that I want to try to protect you from, because I think you have an actual place in this business with an actual future to being at the top of the company. But you can't be at the top of the company if you have broken limbs every time you do something stupid. Or if you're in a wheelchair because you severed your damn spinal cord being dropped on your spine. Or you slit your carotid because you want it to go through glass. I just think there's some things that, first off, Darby Allin needs to recognize that, this is just an adrenaline rush for him. This is just him chasing something that's never going to satisfy him. But then Tony Khan's also got to step in and become, again, Big Ball Tony and put a stop to it. Until Tony Khan does that, right? Until Tony Khan steps up and becomes Big Ball Tony and grows some huevos and actually takes lead in his company. Honestly, Darby, I can't expect you to do anything. I understand your point of view. You just want to go out and entertain people and chase a feeling. If Tony's going to let you do it, why would you not do it? I understand that. I can't really be mad at the fans if Tony doesn't do it, right? All of this comes back to Tony. The whole thing comes back to Tony. The whole thing comes back to Tony. Darby needs to protect his business and his brand, sure. But it all comes back to Tony. Why are we allowing this shit? Do you want Darby Allin to die in your ring, Tony Khan? Do you want that to happen? Your company's done if it happens. It's done. You don't survive that. Right? So like Darby, get some regard for your life. You have a future ahead of you. And Tony, grow some fucking testicles, dude. All right, so that's my talk. That's the show right there, right? We're going to go ahead and go to the WeTooDeep question of the week. And that is, with all this Hall of Fame talk, I had this thought pop up the other day. Should WWE build an actual physical building for the Hall of Fame? I think this is actually a pretty easy question. And the answer is yes. Now, whether you want to put it in Orlando or whether you want to put it in Connecticut, or New York, those are really the only three places that I can consider it happening. I think Endeavor is based in Chicago. If I'm right, I don't actually know, but Connecticut, New York, or Orlando is really the only place that makes any sense to me. I don't know if I've stated this or not, but I personally believe that they should. I think the space they rent out for NXT for the Performance Center. I think there's a building, like it's one big building, and they get like half of it, and then there's another company in there or whatever. But I would try to like pay off that company to let you lease the whole building, and I would sort of create the Hall of Fame as part of the Performance Center, and I would like provide like the WWE experience, right? Where you could come in, tour the Hall of Fame, see the Performance Center, get to meet some of the new trainees, and wrestlers that do go to the Performance Center on a day in, day out basis, where, right, and it's not necessarily like meet and greets that you got to pay for, but you can sort of like, they're in there, you can watch them train, you can watch them do all of that from some like platform. You were walking in the arena with them. Maybe you can go shake a hand or two. I wouldn't be like, oh, okay. See, the problem with that is wrestling fans are weird and they're going to try to get autographs from people trying to do their job. Like, y'all, that, right. And so, but I would make it like a big experience like that, where you have like a section that's the Hall of Fame, and then you can go out and, there's certain things they do at what used to be known as fan access during WrestleMania, where like you could like jump off a top rope of like a ring into like a foam pit, or do an entrance of a particular wrestler. And there was even like a section when I went that I remember where you could do like commentary on a match, and or do like a promo. I think you could set that up in there as well, and sort of just create like an, with it being in Orlando, which is where like Disney and all those amusement parks are. Like I would create like I wouldn't do an amusement park, but create sort of like a fan experience in Orlando, with the Hall of Fame. With I would do like a superstore, and I would create that experience for the fan base. But if anything, yes, a physical Hall of Fame is needed. One, I think you could then host the Hall of Fame reception, like the ceremony, in a similar way to how NFL does it, where it's every year it's in Canton, Ohio for the NFL, right? So every year the Hall of Fame is done, and you could have like an entire like event wrapped around the Hall of Fame, where you put on like SmackDown could be live from Orlando, Florida. Where you set up the ring at the Performance Center, and that's where SmackDown is done. And before SmackDown goes, like I would, purchase like the extra hour of TV time prior then, or watch it on Peacock or whatever. Where it's like, similar to how like the Hall of Fame happens, and then, but before the Hall of Fame game, right? Like I think it's, you have the Hall of Fame reception. to get the new class in, right? And so I would do something similar to that but I really like my first idea of just like a fan experience, where you have the Hall of Fame, you can go tour that, you can go do some of the cool fan access stuff, maybe even talk to some of the NXT wrestlers or, WWE wrestlers that are at the Performance Center that day. Maybe even, meet some of the trainers, if you're a potential wrestler who maybe wants to get into the business, maybe have, partner with some, training schools who can do promo work down there. Maybe you can get to meet some of just have a big fan experience, centered in Orlando, Florida, in the midst of all of that traffic that comes down to that area. And yeah, I think that would be fun, right? Because most people don't go to the NFL Hall of Fame, the Football Hall of Fame. It's not like people go year round, but it's not like there are tourist seasons, right? Like towards the beginning of August, towards the end of summer, Hall of Fame's bussing, right? Well, towards WrestleMania season is when that's probably going to be bussing, right? Where the Hall of Fame class can be inducted, and then you could sort of differentiate the Hall of Fame away from WrestleMania weekend, where Hall of Fame could be its own separate event at a different time. And I get you do it during the hall, right, but I think WrestleMania weekend's too busy. I'm just going to be completely honest with you. They do too much, right? You got the Hall of Fame the same day as SmackDown, right? On Friday, Saturday, you got to wake up. So listen to the schedule, right? Friday is SmackDown, then Hall of Fame's after, right? After SmackDown in the same arena. The next morning, if you're going to everything, right? The fans that are going to Hall of Fame, SmackDown, then going to NXT got to be in the arena by 11 a.m. when NXT starts that morning, right? And then you got SmackDown night 1 Saturday night, and then you got SmackDown night 2 on Sunday, and then you got WrestleMania World, WWE World now throughout all of it, right? So it's busy. So I would just remove Hall of Fame, put it some other time during the year, maybe in the midst of summertime when people can go to Florida, right, as a promo. Like maybe, do something like that. I think that's fun. I think that they do. To answer the question, yes, they need a physical Hall of Fame. Let me know what y'all think in the Discord. I definitely want to know the answer to that conversation. But here's the final segment, and this is the WeTooDeep Top 10. This week we are talking my top 10 tag teams of all time. This is going to be controversial. So let's start. We're going to start at number 10 this week because this is just where I want to start. This is just where we're starting. At number 10, we're going to start off with the controversy. This was one of my favorite tag teams growing up. Like I just loved everything about it, and that is the Acolyte Protection Agency, also known as the APA. What was just known Bradshaw, John Bradshaw, and Farouk. Y'all can't tell me this. Y'all didn't enjoy this tag team. One of my favorites. I don't think they're high on the list. I don't think they did enough as a tag team versus some of these other tag teams that we have on here. But yeah, the APA to me have to be on the list. See, the next three though are where we get super controversial because y'all gonna hate me for these takes. And those. And really, they're in no order. So I'm just going to list all three teams together. So these are 7, 8, and 9. And that's the Dudleys, the Hardys, and Edge and Christian, right? And everyone who grew up in the Attitude Era, Ruthless Aggression Era, sort of my generation of wrestling fan and older, everyone sort of for lack of a better term, sucks off these three teams, right? They glaze all over these three teams. And let me just tell you something. If you take away the TLC matches and the ladder matches and the gimmick matches, what do these teams have? Right? What do these teams have? Not a damn thing. Not a damn thing. Right? Sorry. I'm just they don't shine to me as like legitimate tag teams. These are just a bunch of people who do gimmick matches. And that's fine. That's their little niche. And I don't necessarily care the order, but they don't stand out to me as like the best tag team. Like I know people who put like Edge and Christian as like the best tag team of all time. And I'm sorry, get the fuck out of here. They're not. They're not even close. Right? Are these good entertaining things to watch? Sure. But take away TLC, take away gimmick matches, take away ladder matches. Are the Hardys anything without the ladder match? Are Edge and Christian anything without the ladder match? Are the Dudleys anything without tables? I respect the Dudleys a little bit more, to be honest. They're a little bit higher, but the other two, come on, dog. Like, it's just not for me. It's just not for me. Number 6, I'm putting DX and Triple H, Shawn Michaels. They got to be on the list. They got to be on the list. I'm sorry, they just do. They were entertaining in the Attitude Era, in that era of time, and then everything else after it. When they came back in the sort of PG era, it was a little bit corny. It was out of touch with the generation that of product they were putting on. But I still think DX, if anything, you can then include the New Age Outlaws as well. I'm putting factions in here, right? So DX as Triple H, Shawn Michaels, then you get China. I think we have to sort of respect that tag team. So they're going to be number 6. Number 5, the Wild Samoans. I don't think we put a respect on the name of our tribal chiefs family and really the originators of the bloodline and what they did. But these guys are top 5 tag team of all time. Top 5 tag team of all time. Number 4, possibly my favorite tag team of all time, and that is Evolution. And again, I know it's a faction, but it is what it is. They're on the list. Deal with it. Evolution, best faction of all time to me. When it comes to actual factions, but then like the tag team work was great. The storytelling was great. Number 3 is Demolition, or what were they? The Legion of Doom in WWE. But Demolition, without a doubt, needs to be on this list. Super high. They're top 3 of all time. Top 3 of all time. Demolition. Some other people I could have put on the list before I get to the final 2. Some other guys like, the Steiners, but I didn't really watch the Steiners all that much. The Von Erichs, maybe. The Warriors, the Road Warriors, maybe. U.S. Express, Midnight Express, Freebirds, all of those guys. You could have considered those. But let's get to number 2, and that is the New Day. And I know a lot of people are like, they're probably number 1. And I could understand that argument. 1 and 2 could be interchangeable, but I think these have to be 1 and 2. The New Day. Without a doubt, the New Day is the greatest tag team of all, or one of the greatest tag teams of all time. I think the only one greater than them, y'all know where this is going, is the Usos. The Usos are the greatest tag team of all time. They are. There's just no doubt about it. And if you don't think it's the Usos, it has to be the New Day. It just has to be, right? You can't name me a better team, though, than the Usos in terms of just chemistry, tag team ability, dominance on screen, promos, in-ring, good matches, decent storytelling, record after record. They've been doing this thing for like 14 years now, and I've never been bland of the Usos. Just haven't ever gotten tired of the Usos. Whereas for me, like the New Day shtick sort of got old very quickly. It begins to be like, shit, the New Day's 10 years old as a tag team, right? You don't even realize that like they're like 10 years old as a tag team, but it got old very quick, right? It got old very quick. with the pancakes and the unicorns and the horns, and it's fun and it's cool to be in, and it was fun for the first like 5 years, and then they get really bored. They get really boring, and so I think the Usos have to top them. I really do. But that's the show, y'all. Shorter than normal, right? I know you guys are expecting like hour-long spectacles, but that's all I got for you. That's all I got for you. Thank y'all for listening again to the Slapping Me Wrestling podcast. Until next Tuesday, when I will be joined with DJ Wavy D. Check out junkyardmediagroup.com. All the other links in the description. Click that QR code as well to get your WWE shop merchandise. And until then, this is WeTooDeep. And I'll see y'all on the next episode.
Brother, I'm going run a wild Hulk Hogan. If all I get's a moment, I'll make sure it's an explosion. Cause lately I've been seeing stars, trying to kick out of this jaw cord. But it's no hope.